Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. Yeah, recently my laptop crashed, so I was able to kind of back up the files, so no big problem, but yeah, it asks some time to recover from that, so that's why I took some time to recover everything and eventually update YgoPro and so on. So eventually, I think it was a few days ago that again we are getting new promo cards, new support for the Draco rivals and so on, and yeah, I think it was early today that Konami announced that Atlantean Prince will be released in the TCG. Very big announcement, especially for all the Mermail players, and of course, adding 3 Prince to the main deck, 2 Mermails, definitely makes them top tier. It's a big push for the deck, and mainly big pushes for OTKs. Right, so the focus here on today's video is the new Majespecter cards again, Majespecter Frog, and that new Majespecter spell that kinda acts like an honest, doubles the attack, although it's not that great. Yeah, I'm not really sure if you want to main deck that one, but the main focus here of the video is the fusion, the Draco rival fusion. Its effect states, or at least yeah, it's very easy to get on board. The only thing you need is a Dracoslayer monster. So most of the time it will be your Pendulum, your Luster Pendulum, and any Pendulum monster on your side of the field. And it acts like a contact fusion, so it's kinda easy to get on board. And it only has 2000 attack, but it does have almost 3k defense. Very cool. It has 2 separate effects. The first effect is that when it's on the field, your Pendulum monster in both your monster zones and in your Pendulum zones cannot be destroyed. So your Pendulum monsters are safe from opponent's destruction, and at the same time, once per turn, you can reborn one Draco monster, one Dracoslayer monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. So that's quite nice, since you know, with that Draco rival Exceed, the big downside was that both Pendulum monsters eventually would be sent to the grave, since you know Pendulum monsters used for Exceed materials are sent to the grave, and that new fusion monster, that Draco rival fusion monster, kinda makes up for that. You can just reborn one of your Draco Slayers, Draco rival cards, get it back on board, immediately provided for more synchro summons, more exceeds, and so on. And that's quite nasty, as you will see in the duels. I'm still not playing Ariadne in the main deck, since again it's currently glitched. Otherwise, it's so disgusting with your Draco synchro. Says I'm not really sure about the rulings, but I don't think Ariadne will trigger when it's destroyed in your Pendulum zone by, for example, your your Luster Pendulum, like Flame Mascot does. But yeah, on the other side, normally your Ariadne should trigger when it's destroyed by your Draco Synchro. So again, popping one of your opponent's cards, send it back to the deck, and normally get a search from your deck, counter trap search that is, from your deck, and that's quite disgusting, right? So as soon as Ariadne is fixed, I'll add that in the main deck. Anyway, let's hop into the first game. Alright, yeah, playtesting against the new Mermails. Your opponent is playing a Mermail deck with triple Atlantean Prince in the main deck. I'm not really sure if he's running a Solemn Notice. Anyway, Pendulum Call, you know the shenanigans, searching out both Pendulum Magicians, use a field spell, eventually, normal summon Raccoon, I believe, special summon Frog triggers, searching out, at least target one of your Majespecter spell and traps from your deck and set it immediately to your back row. That's quite good. Anyway, so he has breakthrough skill to stop my synchro, my Draco synchro. Otherwise, I would have been able to, kinda spam my field full of monsters, go for the Draco Exceed, eventually go for maybe another Draco Synchro, or maybe even the Fusion, depends. Anyway, so there is the Atlantean Prince, kind of forced to activate my Tempest here to negate Prince, or at least to negate the Search effect, since again, sending the card, I believe, is a cost, so he always would have gotten the search from his Dragoons, I believe, right? Anyway, so eventually he goes for Megalo. I can get a huge Pendulum summon off again, since I'm not really sure yet that the spell card eventually lured out, or at least I lured out that spell card, negating my field spell search. But eventually I can go for the Draco Synchro, the Draco Exceed, and eventually also for that Draco Fusion to reborn one of my Draco Slayers in the graveyard. kinda get it back, eventually also send it back to the extra deck with my Synchro monster and just clear the way to attack for a game. Yeah, it seems with all the new support that the new Draco cards, the Draco archetype is, yeah, it's getting there. It's definitely going to be a very good pendulum based archetype, and yeah, you can pretty much splash it into any pendulum based deck. Anyway, so I get to start, yeah, get some shenanigans going, spam my field full. I do have a few options here. I can go for another Exceed, or yes, I can go for another Synchro, I believe, eventually, and maybe with the double Exceed, double Draco Exceed, but that leaves both Majespecter traps kinda dead. So that's, I think, the only downside here is you have all of those plays to go for those Draco, Synchro, Exceed, or Fusion, but yeah, if you don't have Majespecters on your side of the field, your Majespecter spells and traps are pretty much dead, and that's something you, of course, don't want to have. He goes for Gun Gear. Okay, that's all good. He's able to pop my both my Pendulum Scales and both my monsters. Okay, that's all fine. That's, of course, something you have to keep in mind if you're playing a Pendulum-based deck. You have to keep track of your Pendulum Scales, of your options, right? You always have to have access to your pendulum scale. So both Insight and Unicorn provide the scale. I think he has another breakthrough skill to kind of stop that Draco Synchro. But yeah, it's looking very good for me. Use Tornado to banish that Megalo, and now I cannot lose this one, right? He does have 7,650 life points left, but against any pendulum based deck, this is always a game over. So go for the Synchro, go for the Exceed, detach. So the Draco monster is sent to the grave. Contact Fusion using that Raccoon. So that's also not a big advantage here, since most of the time your face-up Raccoon would just be in the way. But now using it for the the Pendulum monster needed for the Draco Fusion card. Yeah, that's quite good. Anyway, next duel against the Burgesstomas. Main decking that what is it called? Card of Demise. You know, that insane draw card. But it does have a few drawbacks, like you can't special summon during the same turn, and you have to discard the remaining cards in your hand during the end phase. But if you're playing something like Chain Burn, Burn deck, or maybe Burgesstomas, you kinda can get advantage out of that, like discard your Burgesstoma traps that you drew during the end phase. You know, the card is definitely good, but it does not have a place in any deck. I decide to just attack into his monsters. It does have Mirror Force, okay. Yeah, I knew I did not use my Draco Synchro monsters effects, since again I do have two Majespecter traps in my back row, and by keeping Fox on board, one of them is live, since again, if he's able to go for that Burgesstoma Exceed, I mean, it's just such a problematic card. He has, I think it's a quick effect, right? You can just use the effect during both players' turns. The only restriction it has that it has to have an Exceed material that is a trap, right? And yeah, it didn't really matter if I used my Tempest or my Tornado on the Exceed or on his trap card during the previous turn, since I think if I would have activated the Tornado on his Exceed summon, yeah, I would have lost both my Pendulum Scales, so it didn't really matter that much by activating the Tornado earlier. Anyway, use Soul Notice to prevent him from going for that Exceed, since that's such a huge problem that they can use the Exceed during my turn also. And I do have Raccoon in my hand, but I need another monster. Doesn't really matter which Pendulum monster, since Raccoon can search the appropriate Pendulum Scale to get a huge Pendulum summon off and possibly make a comeback. But again, that Exceed, yeah, if Burgesstomas can get all of those traps in the grave, the deck is quite good, but it's just the deck needs a lot of setup. You kind of have to have reasoning. Yeah, opening with reasoning is, of course, like just like Infernoids, you just have to open with reasoning. I mean, it just increases the chances of you winning. Anyway, last tool. I get to start, so normal summon Raccoon. I get to search. Eventually search. I think Majespecter get. Yeah, because it has a scale of 2. Use a field spell. Go for Frog. Set my either Tempest or Tornado in my back row. Get some shenanigans going with the Draco. Synchro, the Draco Exceed and the Draco Fusion, and special summon that new Dracoslayer card. Also quite good as a pendulum monster, but again, I would have been able to exceed for the second Draco Exceed during my previous turn, but that would have left me with no Majespecter on board, again leaving me with 2 dead Majespecter traps. I attack into Mirror Force, try to attack for a game. Yeah, this should have been game, bar the Mirror Force, but I think he had like 4 traps, right? And any trap would trigger his Burgesstoma monsters from the grave. So I do attack into Mirror Force. Okay, that's not a big problem. I can just, again, use the Pendulum Summon, special summon all the Majespecters on board, and also that Dracoslayer card. Go for the Fusion. And yeah, it doesn't even bother playing on. Definitely wasn't done yet with my turn, but it didn't really matter. So the new Draco Fusion is definitely a big push for a Draco, the Draco cards, the Draco archetype in general, also for pendulum based decks, since it does protect your pendulum scale. It does protect your pendulum monsters on board, and it has a huge amount of defense. So it's yeah, the pendulum archetype is definitely getting out there. So guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. I'm signing out. Peace.